KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
The clock is ticking. More than 6 months into contract negotiations with the city of San Antonio, the police union says the current contract is likely to expire before the two sides finalize a new one.
But what will change for San Antonio police officers? Garrett Berger gives us the latest on the city and police unions' ongoing contract negotiations.
On September 30th, just 41 days away, the current contract for the San Antonio Police Officers Association will have reached the end of its 5-year term. And the head of the union's negotiating team thinks it's probably more than likely they'll get there before a new contract is finalized.
And so we can find a way to discuss some of this stuff, but you end up with time constraints.
Key items remain on the table: officers' wages, healthcare costs, and the thorniest and most high-profile issue, the appeals process for fired officers. The city wants to make it harder for fired cops to get their job back through arbitration. The city and union remain divided on who needs to prove what, but the gap between their positions has narrowed over the past 6 months.
And I think we're much closer in the language than what we've been in the past.
For a contract to be finalized, the two sides not only need to strike a deal at the table, but also get the union membership and the city council to approve it. But even if they can't get that done by September 30th, an evergreen clause would keep the current contract terms in effect for up to 8 years. However, officers' pay would stay flat during that time, even as their health care costs continue to climb. But neither side is admitting to any pressure to get things done ahead of an evergreen period.
I think we want to try to resolve it as quickly as possible. I don't feel pressured to do it.
I tell you what, the minute people feel pressure on them, that ends up with negative results. Time and distance is always a good thing for people.
Leaving the timeline for negotiations anyone's guess. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
It is a case that some in the cycling community pointed to as yet another reason there was work to do when it comes to protecting those riding on two wheels. Today, a hearing was held in the case involving Melissa Peeples, charged with intoxication manslaughter and the death of a local cyclist who was also a San Antonio surgeon. Erica Hernandez with what played out in court.
Now, this was an evidentiary hearing to determine whether certain evidence would be allowed in trial. Peeples is facing an intoxication manslaughter charge in the 2019 death of 58-year-old Dr. Najee Caruz, who was riding his bicycle with lights in a marked bike lane at the time of the crash. The in-person hearing took place in Judge Villamesa's 226 District Court. 5 witnesses took the stand to testify. The arresting SAPD officer took the stand and described the moments when he first saw her when she was detained at her home.
When I opened the vehicle, instantly I was met with a strong odor of intoxicants. There was red bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and I noticed a noticeable sway while she stood in front of me.
The defense was asking that some of the statements made before her arrest and during her interview be suppressed. Judge Mesa will look over all evidence presented in this hearing today and have a ruling on a later date. Now, this trial was expected to start next week, but because no jury trials are taking place right now, it will be rescheduled for later this year. At the Cadena Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio police tell us a man walked into a Northwest Side home and shot a person who lived there. We're told the man who was shot is in critical condition tonight, and the man who shot him is on the run. Katrina Weber has the story.
The search for answers took a temporary backseat to the search for a shooter. That was a top priority as San Antonio police arrived around 5 this morning at the Cordoba Apartments in the 7800 block of Callahan Road. Inside a ground floor unit, a 36-year-old man had been shot in his belly. He was in critical condition as he was taken away in an ambulance. Police say someone with a gun had shown up, specifically looking for him. Then things took a violent turn. Early on, at least, police were not able to explain the reason for the shooting. But after investigating, they say it looks like the two men were arguing over property, possibly a cell phone. Police spent some time questioning other people there, trying to learn as much as they could about the shooter. Officers caught a glimpse of him climbing over a fence as they arrived. They immediately blocked off the area and launched their helicopter. Still, the shooter was able to slip by them and get away. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Meantime, another search underway. San Antonio police searching for someone they say shot a man to put an end to an argument north of downtown. Apparently, the argument began while two people were pushing a disabled vehicle into a corner store parking lot on Blanco Road near Mariposa Drive. Officers say that argument got heated enough that a gun came out. The suspect shot the other man. The injured man expected to be okay, but no sign of that suspected shooter.
Turning now to coronavirus coverage tonight. On our Facebook page today, families shared what they would do if they were notified that their child may have been exposed to COVID-19 at school. As you would imagine, we received some very mixed responses. TEA guidance right now says until a child tests positive or is actively sick with COVID-19 symptoms, parents can still send their kids to school, even if they've had close contact. Stephanie Adams' son, who is in first grade at Cibolo Valley Elementary School, woke up with a fever and sore throat on the 5th day of school. Stephanie says she is now waiting on her son's test results. And while she planned to quarantine him regardless, she is concerned about what other parents will do. She's worried they may have to turn back to homeschooling.
Obviously, what we're doing right now is not working. It's not, we've got more cases every day and kids are getting more sick.
Meanwhile, we reached out to several school districts in our area today, including Stephanie's district, all of them with very different plans in place right now. To read more about those plans, head over to our website at KSAT.com.
The Delta variant is now the most dominant strain in the U.S., choking up intensive care units and emergency rooms. It is 55% more transmissible than the Alpha variant, and patients infected with Delta are 1.8 times more likely to be hospitalized. But Ursula Perry shows us a team of researchers already busy devising the best strategy to corner COVID variants before they spread far and wide.
Alpha, Gamma, Delta. These COVID-19 variants have been making headlines all around the world. But in this Florida lab, researchers are using the power of collaboration to strengthen the response against COVID-19 variants within the U.S.
It really takes a number of different collaborators from public health agencies at a local, state, and federal level, along with academics at public and private institutions and private industry partners to really mount a robust public health response to a pandemic.
That's why these researchers are building a network where they can collect samples from places that normally wouldn't submit COVID data. Those places are like schools, urgent care centers, and private hospitals to better track how a variant emerges.
So it really is focusing on genomic surveillance of the virus and then interrogate it to understand how the virus is spreading, how it's changing over time.
And detect changes early enough to strategize a better response, not only for the next variant, but also the next pandemic.
The research team at the University of Central Florida is right now very busy tracking cases of reinfection as well as those vaccine breakthrough cases. The Delta variant being the latest one, dashing the hopes of those of us who thought we'd be done by now with hospitalizations and vaccinations. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
Members, this has been a very long summer. We've been through a lot. I appreciate you all being here.
That is Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan addressing a quorum in the Texas House on Thursday. It has been more than 5 weeks since a group of Democrats broke quorum and left Texas to block several bills from being voted on, while members of the House hope to now move forward on legislative items like the election bill. The question now is, will that quorum hold?
Members, according to the Journal Clerk, the quorum is now present. Pursuant to Rule 5, Section 10, all members will please register. The clerk will ring the bell.
Those bells representing the men and women who were present on the floor of the House when the daily session opened yesterday. Among them, 3 representatives from the Houston area breaking ranks with nearly 3 dozen of their Democrat colleagues, a move that caught San Antonio Rep. Ina Minjares a little off guard.
We have been a very tight-knit group. We have held morning roll call Zoom meetings with one another to hold each other accountable, and never once did 2 of those members disclose that they were going to make the floor that day.
Republican Steve Allison says he hopes the quorum holds so lawmakers can get to work.
So there just has to be a realization we've got some important matters we need to get done. And this has gone on long enough, and it's not serving any purpose. So I'm very, very hopeful it's going to hold and we're going to accomplish things.
The question now is, can lawmakers get a voting rights bill that both sides can live with? Harris doesn't believe so.
And the Republicans have not been forthcoming. They have not accepted amendments, and then they don't keep their word. So that still has yet to be seen. So I don't have a lot of hope that they're going to actually work across the aisle. There have been ongoing changes from the original election bills at the start of the regular session to what we have now is night and day. So I'm confident that if there's necessary changes to be made, there's still going to be plenty of opportunity to do that.
The House will be back in session on Monday afternoon. Harris says she will wait to see if there is a quorum before she decides to go to the House floor. The special session runs through September 5th, and Governor Abbott will likely call a third special session if the items on the agenda are not voted on.
Time saver traffic. Now let's take a look out here. 410 and Broadway, things smooth sailing. Maybe people got a jump on the weekend. It is a story often told, but still hard for many to grasp. The journey of migrants attempting to cross the border into South Texas in unforgiving terrain. August has been an especially deadly month. The Brooks County Sheriff tells us they have recovered 78 migrant bodies this year, a 200% increase, 13 since last Sunday. Now there's a documentary, Missing in Brooks County. There is a free outdoor screening tomorrow evening at the Inn on the Riverwalk. Our Jesse DeGollado now with a preview.
The Border Patrol station is making these people walk in that deep sand with very little water.
Stunned by so many of their bodies being found.
It used to get to me, so now it kind of, I think we don't call them people anymore, we call them bodies.
Filmmakers spent almost 5 years documenting those who find them.
An illegal alien crosser is an illegal alien crosser.
Others tracking down the people out there still trying.
This is the South Texas Human Rights Center.
And those dedicated to helping them any way they can. But above all,
it's really about the families.
The film shows the agonizing search by a family looking for their loved one who'd spent most of his life in Houston. Homero Roman had tried coming back after being deported when he got a traffic ticket.
My brother tried his hardest to get accustomed to life over there, but life is just not the same without your family.
That was a number of years ago already, and they have no idea what happened to him. I mean, he went missing in Brooks County. That's the last he was heard from.
In spite of what a Brooks County dispatcher told them,
there's been a lot of missing people. They won't ever give up looking.
Sadder still, she says.
More people are coming, more people are dying.
Jesse DeGollado, KSAT 12 News.
That documentary will also be shown in Brooks County later on this month. We have more information on the film and the upcoming screenings of Missing in Brooks County on our website at ksat.com.
Take a live look outside with live cam on this Friday evening. Look, it's a little hazy out there. It is hot, Katie.
Yes, it is, and that is not going to change over the course of the weekend. Probably not a big surprise, but we do have a couple of subtle things to talk about. A breeze and a little chance of rain coming up for a few lucky yards tomorrow. We'll talk about that very shortly. First, today's almanac, another day at 98 degrees at the airport. That's the third day in a row with a high of 98, and so far this summer, 98 is the hottest we have gotten here in San Antonio. It was another triple-digit day in Del Rio. Your high there 100, 102 in Catula, and then some low 90s up across the hill country this afternoon. At this hour, we still have some heat index readings. The yellow number near 100, even several degrees above 100 as you get closer to the Gulf of Mexico. And heat indices will continue to be elevated over the next several afternoons. So be ready to stay hydrated if you've got outdoor plans this weekend. As for this evening, warm and muggy out there. Skies will become clear, and thankfully that breeze will stick around. Winds about 10 to 20 miles per hour even after the sun goes down. We'll be right back.
School's back in session for a lot of kids and families, but I'm guessing that's not the end of a lot of summertime activities, like just finding a cool place to hang out.
Pool time this weekend.
Pool time, garden hose.
Yeah. Oh, I loved the garden hose as a kid.
Running through the sprinkler.
Sprinkler.
This
Except those ones that they look like tractors and they ride along the hose.
Yeah.
And they have the long. Those would always get my shins. Hated those. Otherwise, yes, love the outdoor fun. And I'm sure that will continue this weekend. I'm sure we also have some folks heading down to the coast. Just some of my friends alone, I count 3 people down at the coast this weekend. And if you have friends or family there, if you're maybe heading there tomorrow, there's going to be a chance of rain tomorrow afternoon. That will also play a little part in our forecast. But what I really want to point out here is that the rip current risk down along Texas beaches, not only Port A and Corpus Christi, but also all the way up to Galveston near the Houston area, the rip current risk is high because of Hurricane Grace, which is way down to the south. So that system is a long way away, but it will have an impact on the rip currents and also the wave heights for the next couple of days down closer to the Gulf Coast. These rip currents can be deadly. So please, if you've got friends or family there heading down to the beach this weekend, just please maybe remind them of that, to be very, very cautious if they get in the water down on our Texas beaches. Again, the center of circulation of now Hurricane Grace is some 500 miles away from Corpus Christi, but we will see those kind of subtle effects from this tropical system. Movement of Hurricane Grace is west at 10 miles per hour. This will move inland late tonight through the day tomorrow, reaching areas around Mexico City by early tomorrow afternoon as a tropical storm. So this could intensify to Category 2 hurricane status before it makes landfall late tonight and then weakening as it moves inland tomorrow. That's not the only tropical system we're monitoring. You're likely going to hear a lot about Tropical Storm Henri. This is expected to intensify to a Category 1 hurricane as we get into Sunday and then approach parts of New England as a Category 1 storm by Sunday afternoon. So this is going to be parts of Long Island, New York, the Hamptons, also Connecticut and Rhode Island, areas that are very tree dense that are likely looking at some big time winds here moving in late this weekend. So they are concerned not only about coastal impacts and flooding rains, but also the tropical storm and hurricane force winds that could really do some damage and power outages with the dense tree that they have up there in that part of the country. So we'll continue to keep you updated in case you have friends or family there. This weekend here at home, our forecast will be quiet, mainly just hot. Currently 89 in Fredericksburg, but it's still 100 in Del Rio, 96 here at the airport. Skies will become clear this evening, and it'll be really quiet out there overnight through early on Saturday morning. As we get past lunchtime tomorrow, there'll be a couple little straggler showers that try to sneak in from the south. Any chance of rain tomorrow is going to be very low, and it will be confined south of the Highway 90 corridor. And then even that 10% chance of rain tomorrow drops out of the forecast by Sunday. So low mention of a stray shower south of 90 tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, hot and muggy with heat indices maxing out around 105 for the next several afternoons. By the middle of next week, we'll throw back in about a 20% chance of some afternoon rain. Guys,
I appreciate going with the 99. Just keeping it there.
Purely psychological.
Yeah, thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Katie. All right, Larry, if you want to know what the Spurs will be doing for this season, the schedule is out.
It is out, and we're just about 2 months away from the Spurs regular season opener, which is just really crazy to think. And they are back to an 82-game regular season. We got some of the highlights of that schedule coming up. Plus, Vivian Iwuchukwu is transferring from Cole High School. Coming up next. San Antonio Spurs today announced their 2021-22 regular season schedule in conjunction with the NBA's 75th anniversary season. The Spurs will tip off the regular season at home on Wednesday, October 20th with the Orlando Magic. This year's schedule returns to 82 regular season games. The Spurs' annual rodeo road trip will feature 8 games starting February 9th and ending February 28th. So let's check out some of those highlights now. Wednesday, October 20th is the Spurs season opener with Orlando. October 23rd, the NBA champion Bucks will visit the AT&T Center. October 26th, they'll host LeBron and the Lakers. January 21st of the new year, we'll see the return of Patty Mills with the Brooklyn Nets. That'll be weird. January 28th, the Bulls and DeMar DeRozan come to town. And April 10th is the regular season finale at Dallas. It is time to talk District 15 5A Division II and the Medina Valley Panthers as we continue our big game coverage previews. Led by head coach Lee Crisp, the Panthers returned 12 starters from a team that went 4-6 last season and 2-3 in district while making the first round of the playoffs. Some players to watch include defensive end Joe Tarvin, linebacker Seth Bullard, QB Nick Rash, and wide receiver Bobby Peterson. That first round playoff loss to Sherry Lynn Pioneer provided the Panthers with motivation and extra game experience for this season.
We had a lot of guys that we loved last year that we wanted to go a little bit deeper in the playoffs, but just couldn't get there. We played a really good team in Pioneer.
We gained a lot of experience from that, especially throughout the season since everybody was like a first-year varsity player, our whole offense pretty much, besides a couple. Everybody's returning starters this year, so I feel like that's going to be nice.
It's the best. I mean, that's what we live for. I know since we got back after that playoff game, this is all I've been thinking about. And so to be able to come out and get after it and, you know, coach, that's what it's all about.
Medina Valley is scheduled to open up 1 week from tonight at Southwest Legacy at 7:30 p.m. Turning to girls high school basketball, this area is loaded with extremely talented players, including Vivian Iwachukwu. Girls high school hoops is a year-round sport. There's really no off-season. Vivian is one of the hardest workers and most dominant players around. As a freshman at Cole High School last season, she averaged 18.3 points and 12.3 boards per game and helped Cole advance to round 3 of the playoffs. Back in mid-July, she announced she's leaving Cole for Montverde Academy in Florida. She told us it's to better her game, to get stronger, and to help her get college ready by facing bigger girls. She also said telling Cole goodbye wasn't easy to do.
It was very tough to tell Cole. I mean, that's my family up there. They'll always be my family. I'm going to come back here, visit, go. I'll go to some of their practices even, you know. Coach Leica, she told me, like, I can come, I'm welcome back anytime to come practice with them, work out with them during the summer when I come visit. Mm-hmm. So I'm still going to be there. You know, they're still going to be my family. Once a Cougar, always a Cougar. Yeah.
Vivian will be joining her brother Vincent, who's transferring from a school in Indiana to Montverde Academy as well. Vince was a star during his 2 seasons at Cole High School, leaving after his sophomore campaign. Now the two will be attending the same school.
It's exciting. I'm very excited for him to be there with me because he's like a really big inspiration to me, and he shows me how to play. He teaches me how to play. Both of us being a big, you know, it really does help. He gives me some really good advice, and yeah, I'm excited.
Her parents will still live in the area, so Viv will be coming back to visit. And I love that big smile she got in her face when we talked about her brother.
Yeah, that
Best
was
of luck to
awesome.
her and her brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry. Our KSAT Q&A is up next. It is a situation the entire country is watching play out. Much of the world, really. What we are seeing happening in Afghanistan right now, those gripping images over the last several days of desperate people trying to flee that country as the Taliban has now taken control. We would like to welcome in Dr. Ritu Mathur, Associate Professor at UTSA, the Department of Political Science and Geography, to give us some perspective on the things we all need to be understanding about what we're watching happen in Afghanistan. Dr. Mathur, thanks for being with us. Let's first start talking about what's the impact so far. What is happening in this country with this Taliban takeover?
As you can see from the images on the media, the situation is quite dire, and it's basically a humanitarian crisis unfurling over there. And it is basically a long war, and Afghanistan was also referred to as the bleeding wound for Russia. It became a bleeding wound for the USA also. And so the bleeding actually is taking place, I think, on both sides, from the American side as well as from the Afghan side. And so, in a sense, to take a certain degree of accountability, responsibility with regard to these developments, I think both from the Afghan side as well as from the American side is extremely important. And at this particular stage, it is not enough to say, oh, this is not the time to scrutinize. We are, the military is too busy handling this particular situation. I think this is precisely the time when the iron is very hot that journalists and academics have to ask very important and very tough questions about how did this happen and, why did this happen?
It's hard to remember how we got here, but this started for 20 years under President George Bush. He started it. It was continued and expanded under President Obama. President Donald Trump then said he was going to end it. He started peace talks with the Taliban. It has now fallen on President Joe Biden to continue that withdrawal. He said that this was inevitable, this collapse that we are seeing. Everybody wants to point fingers. Is there plenty of blame to go around for everyone, or is this squarely going to be remembered as President Joe Biden's mistake?
I think, it is not possible to just target one figure or one person who is in office, because Biden has been in office for last 6 months or so. But you cannot deny that he has been served in the Foreign Services Committee, he's been the vice president and the president. So he has been in the thick of affairs. But as you mentioned, for the last 20 years, we've had both the Republicans and the Democrats in office. And so how this war was managed right from the beginning till the present is very, very important. Now, if we just take a look at as Biden pointed out in his speech with regard to, his hands were tied with regard to the agreement which Trump administration had reached with the Taliban. And therefore, there was no way he could actually, move out of this particular agreement. And I tend to disagree with him on this because, if Trump had the courage to basically walk out of the agreement with Iran, what was there for Biden, in a sense, to rethink this agreement, or at least rethink the timelines within this particular agreement? I think that would have been very, very important. And if you want more details with regard to the problems with regard to this agreement with the Trump and Taliban agreement, I'm more than happy to go into it with you.
I'd like to take a minute to talk about the impact to women. Something that has really struck me in watching the coverage of all of this. You think about such a dramatic change that has happened, a 20-year change. There was an entire new generation of young women living in Afghanistan who have not known anything different than what they've been living with for the past 2 decades. What do you think the impact will be to women, to young girls, when it comes to their rights, their educations, their futures?
It is very important that in the U.S. we having a lot of chest beating with regard and this concern with regard to the emancipation of women and and the children in Afghanistan. It is extremely important, and it should not be undermined at any cost. But actually, if you look at the Trump-Taliban agreement, there is not a single word in that agreement which talks about the rights of protection of the minorities or of women and children, right? It does not talk anything with regard to the socioeconomic rights or the civil and political rights, right? So now when you actually have to negotiate, right, you do not have the language to negotiate with it. And to just harp on human rights, right, and humanitarianism with regard to protection of women and children, it makes a lot of moral outcry with regard to it. But when you actually have to put it on the ground in action, right, there is very little to work with over here. Because even the character of humanitarianism has shifted from old humanitarianism. We have new humanitarianism, which is much more legalistic, which is much more militaristic. Right. And so when we try to address the human suffering of women and children, we cannot just do it by just articulating, human rights, etc. Because the poverty on the ground, the lack of education infrastructure on the ground, etc. These day-to-day necessities, which were so important to be built over the last 20 years, were not built, and not enough attention was paid to them. And now, the withdrawal of troops is going to take place, right? It was extremely important that we actually open dialogue with the Taliban, and the other Afghan forces with regard to what is going to happen to the women and children of Afghanistan.
So when you're watching the coverage of all of this unfold over the last week or so, is there something that you feel like is either missing or a key point that anybody watching really needs to pay attention to?
I think a little bit of coverage would be, because there is, the crisis, the language around women and children is very, very important. The humanitarian crisis is important, but equally important is to pay attention to the security concerns in that particular area with regard to Afghanistan, again, becoming a hotbed of terrorism. And that is something which most major powers do not want, right? And how they can, each one of them, Russia, China, Iran, how we all need to sit around the table and talk and have a dialogue with Taliban with regard to these particular issues. Because this is exactly what the Taliban-Trump agreement, in a sense, says, that, after the withdrawal of the U.S. forces, the intra-Afghan dialogue will have to be undertaken. And so how this dialogue takes place so that there is not another outbreak of another civil war situation or proxy war situation, how this dialogue unfolds is very important. And also holding back the humanitarian aid, which is so very important, and holding that as conditional to how these talks will work out, will cause more suffering to the people. And also when you hold back this humanitarian aid also, it becomes very difficult even for the locals, the representatives of the Afghan people to actually carry back, a persuasive argument to their people.
As we wrap this up, Professor, 20 years, billions of dollars spent, countless lives lost, affected with the scars of war mentally and physically. What can and should we learn from this? What lessons are there to be learned?
I think the most important lesson is that we really need to rethink our foreign policy because I think there is a lot of overemphasis on militarization and militarism as a solution to most problems. Because if you're waging a war on terror and you're only taking recourse and you're abandoning the project of nation building or state building because we think we have contributed a lot of money. Yes, we have. Right. But the fact of the matter is just contribution of money and heavy weaponry does not solve the problem. So the grassroots engagement, which requires the training of the people, is extremely important. Building the local institutions is very, very important. Because if you're going to fight terrorism by just saying, oh, we're going to launch counter-terrorism operations, there are also going to be counterinsurgency operations because the conditions of socioeconomic poverty have not been addressed. And that is precisely the problem because, and in every operation, whether it is journalist reporting, whether it is humanitarian aid, if the military is embedded in each of these particular situations, then where is the role of the civilian agencies, the State Department, diplomacy actually, to come and play a key role? And I think that is where the challenge really lies. And so therefore, instead of listening to the generals and saying, oh, this is not the right time, we should assert that this is precisely the right time, that why has the budget of the State Department been reduced, right? Why has the State Department's hands been tied when so many people have to be evacuated? Why is the machinery not working fast enough? Why is it so impoverished?
Dr. Ritu Mathur of UTSA, thanks so much for sharing some time with us and your perspective, helping us understand what we're all witnessing right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. We'll be right back.
A tsunami of patients. That's how one doctor describes the rush of people coming into his downtown Atlanta emergency room during this current COVID-19 surge. It's a problem frontline healthcare workers are seeing all across the U.S. So to help with the overcrowding, doctors want you to know when to go to the emergency room and when to stay home and call your doctor. Busting at the seams, hospitals across the U.S.
It's not a pleasant thing as a medical care provider to have to put patients in a tent.
From Mississippi to Texas, a surge in patients as COVID-19 cases continue to climb, driven by the Delta variant.
Our emergency room, like so many, are overrun right now.
In Georgia, the emergency department at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is not only dealing with COVID-19, but patients with other respiratory viruses. To help with overcrowding, doctors say know when to go to the ER. Get emergency help if the patient has trouble breathing, difficulty keeping down fluids, changes in alertness or unusual trouble waking up, bluish lips or face, or persistent chest pain or pressure. However, they say stay at home and get in touch with a doctor for a low-grade fever, fatigue, cough, congestion, or sore throat.
We've worked to manage the volumes, but a continued rise in numbers will continue to push our capabilities.
Frontline healthcare workers across the U.S. continue to urge vaccination, saying it is the best way to lower risk of hospitalization and death.
I watched a 28-year-old previously healthy unvaccinated patient die from COVID complications. And while we value every life, that one was tough because it could have been prevented.
Take a live look outside with live cam. Beautiful shot there of the sun and the clouds. very warm one and a warm weekend ahead, Katie.
Yes, definitely. The nice thing about this evening is that while it's going to take a while for our temperatures to even fall into the 80s, we do have a really nice breeze in place. So if you want to have dinner out on the patio, it will be warm, it will be muggy, but that breeze is going to be pretty nice. Right now, our winds at the airport are down to just 9 miles per hour, but they'll be about 10 to 20 miles per hour even after the sun goes down this evening. More on your weekend forecast and what's going on in the tropics coming up next.
Weekend is upon us, and I think it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
We should ask Katie, but that's my guess.
Find some water to hang out by.
That's it. You're going to hear a lot about the heat here locally this weekend, but elsewhere across the country, you're also going to hear a lot about tropical weather. Mainly what is still Tropical Storm Henri, but what is forecast to become Hurricane Henri as early as tonight. So this system is still in the open Atlantic for now, but by Sunday afternoon, it is expected to approach New England, specifically parts of New York, like Long Island, and then Connecticut, the Rhode Island area. So this is going to be a big issue for the Northeast this weekend. Here are where tropical watches and warnings are posted all the way from NYC up to Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's the tropical storm watches and warnings, and then hurricane warnings in effect for parts of Long Island, the Hamptons, and hurricane watches across parts of Connecticut and Rhode Island. So they will be dealing with that. Again, widespread power outages are a concern across New England because of that system, because they've got so many trees there. So we'll keep you updated over the course of the weekend. Another tropical system you've probably heard a lot about by now is Hurricane Grace. Hasn't made landfall yet, but landfall is expected very late tonight, early tomorrow morning, as potentially a Category 2 hurricane. So some pretty quick intensification is expected from where Grace is now to where it will be right before landfall. And a big reason for that are the water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. Very, very warm out there. We're talking mid to upper 80s. So when you put a tropical system in warm water like this, rapid intensification is expected. And that's what will be happening with Grace late tonight before it makes landfall early tomorrow across parts of Mexico. Meanwhile, here at home, tropical systems not impacting our forecast here in south central Texas. It'll just be hot out there. 96 currently. Our dew point did manage to drop off into the mid to upper 60s briefly this afternoon. That helps us out a bit with the heat index. But earlier this afternoon, our heat index was up around 102, 103. So it's fallen off a few degrees nonetheless. It is still plenty hot out there, but again, thankfully, a decent breeze out of the southeast at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. And we'll keep that breeze around through your Saturday as well. That'll help us out because, again, tomorrow afternoon, we're jumping back into the upper 90s. We will carry a minimal chance of some rain tomorrow south of the Highway 90 corridor, and Futurecast is painting this pretty well. We'll get you through tomorrow morning with a few hours of some low morning clouds, break through to sun and clouds in the afternoon, and then again south of the Highway 90 corridor, there will be a couple of passing showers possible through the afternoon, early evening hours. Majority of yards tomorrow unfortunately won't get any rain, and we'll just be dealing with the heat. As we get into Sunday, even that 10% chance of rain will drop out of the forecast. So we've got a nice ridge of high pressure that will really start to build in second half of the weekend. We'll get that low chance of rain tomorrow. High pressure right over top of us Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. By the middle of next week, it does look to move off to the north ever so slightly, and that's when we'll bring back in a 20% chance for some isolated afternoon rain, mainly for areas east of I-35 by the middle of next week, guys.
All right. Thank you, Katie.
Seems like our lack of triple-digit heat could be at risk.
Don't say it.
I know.
Don't say it.
Already jinxed it. Sorry.
In case you missed it, coming up next. Here's today's In Case You Missed It.
A fight over a cell phone. It's what San Antonio police believe led to a man being shot on the northwest side this morning. They say that suspect went into the victim's home at the Cordova Apartments on Callahan Road around 5 a.m. The suspect shot the victim in his belly and then took off running. He has not been caught. The victim taken to the hospital in critical condition.
TxDOT is finally moving along with demolishing the US 87 Main Street Bridge in Bernie. That means the main lanes of I-10 will be shut down in both directions from State Highway 46 to Scenic Loop Road.
The closure starting tonight at 9. It ends on Monday morning at 5. The San Antonio Food Bank feeding about 200 families today during a drive-through event on the east side. The food distribution was at the Universal Life Church on South W.W. White Road.
Fruits, vegetables, baked goods, and coffee, just a few of the items given away today. The food bank says it holds these events not only to help people with basic necessities, but also to show them they are not alone.
Local school districts still updating their rules on masks, and just last night, Northeast Side's ISD Board of Trustees approved a temporary mask mandate during an emergency meeting. That temporary mask mandate applies to all students, staff, and visitors who are indoors at any ISD campuses, school buses, or facilities. That mandate goes into effect on Monday. Class has already started for the 21-22 school year. All this while the courts decide the legality of such requirements, which are banned under Governor Greg Abbott's order.
All right, today's high was 98. That's about where we will be for the next several afternoons. I can't rule out a stray shower south of Highway 90 tomorrow, but do not hold your breath. Rain free through Tuesday, and then some spotty afternoon rain will kick back in, mainly east of 35, but not until the middle of next week, guys.
All right, hot, a little more hot.
Certainly looks like August.
Yeah, thanks, Katie. And thanks for watching the news at 6.
We'll see you back here for the Night Beat tonight at 10. Until then, have a good evening.